Welcome back to the podcast. It is week 12 of the NFL, and college football regular season is officially over. If you're wondering where we were last week, obviously it was Thanksgiving break, and we just kind of thought, you know what, let's give ourselves a little break here. So we enjoyed ourselves, and
Did we?
We enjoyed ourselves until Saturday.
Did we enjoy ourselves?
We enjoyed ourselves until Saturday. Let me rephrase that. So, honestly, a lot happened in really, because it was rivalry week. So a lot happened in college football. A lot happened in the NFL, and the sports world is going crazy right now. So sports are at a peak, and this is the time of year I love because it's also Christmas time. So literally the greatest time of the year. Anyway, let's start off with college football here. So again, it was rivalry week, and can we just say congrats to Kentucky for beating Louisville for like the 5th time in a row?
Does that really matter?
Louisville was ranked.
Who cares?
They have to beat Florida State.
There was only one good game this week that mattered.
2.
1.
Technically 2.
Who was the other?
Alabama, Auburn.
No. Which, by the way, quite possibly the worst defensive play
Let's
call
talk about that.
of all time. Literally, and I'm using the word literally correctly here. Literally the worst defensive play call of all time.
I don't know what you're doing. It's the last play of the game.
Fourth
and goal from what, the 33?
Yeah.
What? Number one, I didn't even watch it to the point that they got there because I'm like, oh, it's Auburn versus Alabama. It's going to be a blowout. But no. Anyway, Auburn, how do you not play prevent on the last play of the game on 4th and goal from the 33, and then your rival wins? And
one, they only rushed 2, which gave the quarterback 20 seconds to stand back in the pocket. 2, he throws a Hail Mary to the corner of the end zone where a guy was single covered. How do you only rush 2 and a wide receiver is single covered in the end zone to make a catch?
I don't know what the guy. I don't know your name, sir, but I don't know the guy that was covering him. He didn't even look back for the ball. He was looking at the receiver. And I don't understand exactly why, because all you have to do is bat the ball down and you guys win.
I mean, look, Ohio State, devastating loss, but I'd much rather lose the way Ohio State lost than that way. If I'm an Auburn fan, I'm like sick to my stomach. That's your rivalry game. That's the game you wait for all year. You have it. It's over. It's over. The game is over, and you let that happen. Gross.
All right. As 2 Ohio State fans, we're dreading talking about this, but
I'm not dreading it. It's what I expected.
Well, it was what I was expecting too, but we don't want it to happen. So Ohio State loses to Michigan 30-24, and that is Michigan's 3rd year in a row. First off, I just want to say to all you Michigan's fans out there that are saying, oh, we own you guys. Oh, we should claim ownership now. I just want to remind you, and I'm not trying to bring up the past, but I'm going to. 2012 to 2020. There you go. That's all I have to say. Anyway, I expected this. I didn't think McCord could get it done. I think,
This is not a McCord problem. I mean, look, that first interception was atrocious. It looked like he was throwing it to the defensive back. Now, could Marvin Harrison have done more to prevent that catch from happening? Could he have stepped in? Could he have offensive pass interference? Yes. Part of that's on Marvin Harrison, but at the end of the day, it's a horrible pass. You can't make that throw in that type of game. So that one is 100% on Kyle McCord. But if you look at it, Kyle McCord played a pretty decent game after that. He obviously had the interception at the end of the game, which I told you right before he threw that ball, he was going to lock in on Marvin Harrison. and he wasn't going to look at anybody else. That was not a good throw either, but his offensive line just was a sieve and let the Michigan defenders come in, and they hit McCord, which caused that interception. But this game is on Ryan Day, man.
He got too scared. The thing about Ohio State is that, well, the thing about football, they always say start fast, end fast. You want to go fast. You want to go hard. And that is literally what Ryan Day said at the beginning of the game. They asked him, what's your game plan, coach? And he said, we're going to start fast. We're going to go hard. We're going to score quickly. And at least at the start of the game, they didn't do any of that.
He was conservative. He was conservative that whole game. When Ryan Day is aggressive, and I call him angry Ryan Day, Ryan Day has a chip on his shoulder, he's one of the best coaches in college football. He did it in 2020 against Clemson, the year after they got that game stolen from them. He came out that next year and just put it on Clemson. He did it last year against Georgia. He called an amazing game plan, and they were aggressive against Georgia, and they should have won that game. Against Michigan, he came out conservative, and it cost him. I mean, that they had 4th and 1 at their own 45 early in the game. It's probably 50-50, but I would have gone for it. If you're being aggressive and you're trying to win that game, you go for that, and they punted. But man, the play that I'll probably will never get over, kind of like the 2015 Michigan game, or Michigan State game, that play at the end of the first half where they got the ball with very little time left inside their own 10-yard line. And I told you when we were watching, I said, just get to halftime, right? They were down, I don't know, a score. And I said, just get to halftime. Don't do anything stupid, and you'll be fine. And they put a drive together, and they got down to the Michigan 35, and they had 4th and 1, 4th and 2 with a minute to go. And he just sat on it and didn't go for it. And he ran his kicker out there to kick a 52-yard field goal when his kicker has never made over a 50-yard field goal in his entire career. That's the play I knew. I knew that game was over then. When you don't have confidence in your team, in your play calling abilities, and you're that conservative, you deserve to lose. And I think that play right there cost them that game.
Here's the question, though. What does Ohio State do now? Do you fire Ryan Day?
No. This is the great part about being an Ohio State fan. All the talk since they lost that game has been fire Ryan Day, Kyle McCord, go to the transfer portal. People have amnesia, man. Go back just a couple years ago. C.J. Stroud's first year as a quarterback. People wanted to replace him. I can't remember what game. It was early in the year. It was like their 3rd or 4th game.
I think it was against Oregon. I think it was the loss to Oregon.
It was a loss to Oregon. He played
really bad.
And then the next game, I think it was against Akron, he sat out because he was allegedly injured. I still question that. I think it was like a mental health break. But he sat out that game. And I vividly remember people calling for C.J. Stroud to be replaced as the quarterback. Because the expectations here are unreasonable. And what happened to C.J. Stroud? He went on and had a great season. And then the following year, i.e. last year, probably the best quarterback in the nation, or one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. And look what he's doing now. I've said all year Kyle McCord wasn't the guy. I don't think he was ready. I don't think he had the ability to lead that team. And I think it came to fruition. He had a decent year, but he wasn't the stud quarterback like we're used to. The C.J. Stroud, the Justin Fields, the Dwayne Haskins, the J.T. Barretts. He just wasn't there. Next year, I think he could be. I don't know. I think he could pull a C.J. Stroud and be a top 5 quarterback in the country and lead them to a national championship, potentially. But Ohio State fans want him to go away, enter the transfer portal. Let's go to the next guy. Bring in a transfer quarterback, that's in the portal now. I'm not so sure I agree with that. And then to the Ryan Day thing, What's the dude? 56-8, 56-7. His career.
Yeah,
I mean, look.
Sure, he's 1-3 against Michigan. I get it. It's a rivalry game. It's passionate there. But the fact is, the thing is, if they still make the playoffs, then like they did last year, if they still make the playoffs, then they're fine.
They're not making the playoffs.
Not this year, obviously.
But that's okay. Ryan Day, 56-7. Yes, he can't win the big game. Yes, he tends to be conservative in those big games. He's got some improvement to do. But, I mean, where else are you going to go? If you fire Ryan Day like some fans want,
who do you hire?
I guarantee if there's 120 college teams in the country, 116 are knocking on his door and wanting to bring him in. It's, again, the expectations here are unrealistic. It drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. Now, Ryan Day lost that game. Conservative play calling. The offensive line was atrocious too. They were bad all year. They were bad in that game. We couldn't run the ball.
Well, besides that, we just destroyed them that one drive. But besides that, yeah, you're right. The O-line, they continued to get... Sure, they didn't... I think they had, 2 sacks the entire game? And maybe 1. But they continued to have pressure. And that was the game changer, obviously, in the last play, too, where McCord threw over the middle, and it ended up being the game-sealing interception. So,
when you can't control the line of scrimmage, when you can't open up holes for running backs, and when you're giving your quarterback little to no time to throw the ball, that is a bad recipe against good teams. You can get away with that against Indiana's and Rutgers and Western Michigan's. You can't get away with that against Michigan or these elite teams, and they're going to have to figure that out. And then the other thing that nobody wants to talk about, Ohio State closed that to a 3-point deficit with 8 minutes to go. They went down the field and kicked a field goal, and it was a 3-point game with 8 minutes to go. You hired a $2 million defensive coordinator. You proclaimed to have one of the best defenses in the country all year. And what did you let happen? Michigan just ran the ball down your throat, and you couldn't stop them. Third down after third down after third down, and they just willed themselves down the field and finally kicked a field goal with a minute to go. If you make a big stop there, if you sell out, your defensive coordinator calls a right game plan and you get off the field, you probably win that game because you've got the momentum. And they couldn't do it. They just could not get that stop. And that's been a problem also. And they got to do a gut check in the offseason, man. Yeah, they got a lot of question marks.
There's, a lot of question marks around Ohio State right now. Obviously, the rankings right now is Georgia at 1, Michigan at 2, Washington at 3, Florida State at 4, Oregon at 5, Ohio State at 6, Texas 7, Alabama 8. I think the only reasonable way, if we see a miracle, that Ohio State makes it, is if Florida State loses, Washington beats Oregon, and Texas loses to, I think, Oklahoma. But I don't see Florida State losing to Louisville. I mean, they just lost to unranked Kentucky. I understand. It's a rivalry.
Their quarterback's dead.
Florida State?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they beat Florida, so.
Florida's bad. I see Louisville not easily, but I see Louisville beating Florida State. I don't see Texas losing.
Yeah, so it would be a miracle. It would be a Christmas miracle like last year. But let's head over to...
Not a Thanksgiving miracle?
No, because it's Christmas time.
Oh, before we get off of college football, just real quick, welcome back, Bobby Petrino. Got hired back by the Arkansas Razorbacks to be their offensive coordinator. What a head-scratching hire that is. Do you know the Bobby Petrino story?
No, I do not.
Oh, let me tell you the Bobby Petrino story. Bobby Petrino was the head coach of Arkansas. I don't even know. Can't keep track of time. Let's call it 10 years ago. Maybe not even that long ago. Bobby Petrino got caught doing inappropriate things with a female staffer at Arkansas, and he lied about it, and then he got caught in his lie, and then he got fired for it, and then he had a whole host of other jobs, and now, after firing Bobby Petrino, they hire him back as the offensive coordinator.
Well, but here's the question. Was he a good coach?
He was a fantastic coach at Arkansas, but the way that whole thing went down, the fact that you're bringing him back, all that shows is college football is gross, and all it is winning. That's all they care about is winning. They don't care about anything else, because there is no way that you would bring that guy back in any other circumstance. So, congratulations, Bobby Petrino. Congratulations, Arkansas. This will be a complete bleep show.
Anyway, I'm going to do something crazy here. Let's head over to the NBA. Just for a second, 1 second. I have one comment. If there was an NBA team that I would be a fan of right now, and it's not because they're doing good, it's the Orlando Magic, because every time I wake up in the morning, for some reason, I do not follow them on Instagram, but on social media, I see their winning video, and I love their music. It goes, Orlando Magic, Orlando Magic, and it just gets me ready for the day. So, thank you, Orlando Magic. I hope you keep winning, so I keep hearing that beautiful song. Anyway.
I hate you right now.
Why?
I don't want to do this podcast anymore.
What? I made one NBA comment, and you're done.
One too many.
Okay. I'll make 0.5 next time.
Are they Orlando Magic really winning?
Yeah,
I honestly have no idea.
I think they're like 12-3, something like that.
No way.
Yeah. They're second in the East.
If I cared enough, I would actually do research and look that up, but I don't, so let's move on.
Anyway, NFL. So we missed week 11. Really not much happened, except Joe Burrow is out for the season. What is going on with injuries, man? We've said it again. We've said it here. We said it there. Injuries. What we've got Jake Browning as the Bengals quarterback, and their playoff run is kind of over.
So we now have Jake Browning, Dorian Thompson for the Browns.
Yep.
Or Joe Flacco potentially.
Yep. Who's the Cardinals quarterback? Oh, it's Kyler. Kyler's back.
Who's the Raiders quarterback now? O'Connell?
Aiden O'Connell. Tommy DeVito. What's his name? He played the Dolphins this weekend.
The Jets guy?
Yeah.
Tim Boyle. Yeah. Who's quarterbacking for the Vikings right now?
Josh Dobbs.
Oh, yeah.
He threw 4 interceptions on Monday. Okay.
This is bad. This is bad.
We're going to skip week 11 because nothing happened.
Aaron Rodgers.
I hope he doesn't come back.
He's not coming back.
Stay out for the rest of the season.
He's not coming back. This is all a ruse.
He wants attention.
He's
sad that he gets no attention.
There is 0% chance Aaron Rodgers plays this year.
I don't even think Robert Saleh would put him back in if he was like fully healthy. Because to come back,
hold on. Would you play? What's his name? Tim Boyle.
Yes.
Would you play Tim Boyle at 100% or Aaron Rodgers on one leg with a torn ACL at like 20%?
Does he have to move?
Yeah, he's got to at least take like a 3-step drop.
Well, as long as he's fine, I'd rather have Aaron Rodgers.
Agreed. So,
because
for you to say that Robert Saleh would not put him in the game, I think is false.
Listen, they're like 4-7. I mean, they can make a comeback, but I don't know about this one. But it was Thanksgiving weekend, so we had all the Thanksgiving games, and honestly, none of these were a surprise. We had
what? What do you mean there were no surprises? The Dane Campbells lost. That doesn't surprise you?
They had to lose at some point.
Not on Thanksgiving at home against the Packers.
Listen, they've lost they've been what? 0 and like 12 when the moon is in the waxing globious phase. It's unheard of.
All right, I'm going to give you the floor for about 45 seconds. Do you want to talk about your Miami Dolphins Hail Mary at the end of the first half, run back for a touchdown, which might be one of the greatest plays I've ever seen?
Yes. Okay. Hi, welcome back to the Miami Dolphins fan podcast. I'm your host. And so Jets versus Dolphins on the first ever Black Friday game. That was very exciting. I was very happy because I was setting up Christmas decorations and watching Miami Dolphins football. So anyway, Tim Boyle was the starting quarterback, so I already knew the Dolphins were going to win this. I wasn't scared. But Tua kind of sucked in the game. He threw the worst pick six I've ever seen. And but then Tim Boyle threw the greatest pick six I've ever seen, in which Javon Holland, on the last play of the half, went for a 99-yard interception, return touchdown. So anyway, also Tyreek Hill is still on pace to beat the NFL record. And that's it for the Dolphins fan podcast. I'm your host, and we'll see you next week.
Great. You want to talk about the Patriots Giants 10-7 game?
Oh, do you really want to talk about that?
No.
Well, we could talk about, how do you miss an extra point?
I mean, it was a field goal, but it was essentially an extra point.
How do you miss an extra? That was an extra point. It was an extra point for 3 points. How do you miss it? You're an NFL kicker. How? I don't get it. You get paid to do this. This is your job, and you miss. It makes me angry.
Never leave it.
Can we take
up to the kicker?
Well, they had to at that point, but I can't. I can't with kickers anymore. Can we please remove kickers? Punters, you're fine. Punters, okay. Kickers, no. Except Justin Tucker. Can we clone Justin Tucker?
He missed a field goal this week.
Can we clone perfect Justin Tucker?
He is still pretty good. I think his career is like 90% field goals.
Yeah, which...
Fantastic.
It's absolutely insane on like 400 attempts.
He's gross.
He's
good.
Nasty.
The only game we're talking about is the Bills-Eagles.
That was a great game.
What a fantastic game that was. Overtime, 37-34.
Can I just give it up to Jalen Hurts? I don't like to give the Eagles praise, but to come back from what? He had like 33 passing yards in the first half, an interception. They were down, I think, like 3-17. And they made a comeback run, took it to overtime. Jake Elliott, 59-yard field goal to put them into overtime.
Into the wind and rain. I say never leave it up to the kicker. They really, I don't think they thought he was going to make that. They just had to run him out there, and he drilled that. That was fantastic.
An amazing kick.
It was fantastic.
And then the Eagles ended up winning off a Jalen Hurts rushing touchdown. Who would have thought? I mean, that was definitely the game of the week, 100%. If we did predictions last week, that was obviously going to be the game of the week. But I do want to give more shout outs to the Broncos. They are 6-5. How? How are you 6-5? They've actually beaten good teams too. They've beaten the Bills, the Chiefs. I don't want to call the Browns good, but they were good at one point.
Coaching. Sometimes coaching.
Sean Payton and Russell Wilson really turned it around. So
Sean Payton,
they're going for a playoff push.
It's a miracle worker. All right, let's do picks.
All right, Thursday night football, Seahawks, Cowboys. I do remind you, this is at Arlington, and the Cowboys have not been losing for more than 1 second, at home at AT&T Stadium. So I don't know.
I mean,
they're undefeated at home.
I think the line's like 9.5. I have a feeling Seattle's going to keep it closer than that. I really want to pick against the Cowboys here. I really do, because this is one of those games, because to your point, they've been on fire. That's what the Cowboys do. They just puke on themselves randomly.
Well, also, for people talking about how the Dolphins haven't beat a team over 500, the Cowboys also haven't beat a team over 500.
I'm still taking the Cowboys.
I think
it's closer than everyone wants to make it out to be.
Colts versus Titans. Give me the Gardner Minshews. That's their team name now, Gardner Minshews, because that guy has been playing actually really well, and they're on a 3-game win streak, and this is going to be 4. So, give me the Colts.
Give me Mike Vrabel. and the Titans at home.
All right. Falcons.
You don't like Will Levis?
No, I don't like Will Levis. He puts mayonnaise in his coffee and eats the banana.
Yeah, that is what a weird dude.
He eats the banana.
Have you seen the video of him actually putting the mayonnaise?
I throw up every time I watch it.
I don't understand. How is that even a thing? Like, how do you even try that?
So there's a video of him. He puts
that's what I'm saying. I've seen it.
But he puts the mayonnaise in the coffee. He obviously, drinks the coffee. And then he takes a banana. And he bites down. And he peel and all.
What?
Yeah.
I have not seen that.
You haven't seen that? No, it's weird. The guy is weird.
The guy's weird. I want to change my pick now, but
you can't. You're locked
in.
Fine. Falcons and Jets. This is the worst of the week.
This is the worst of the week.
I mean, what other game is the worst of the week? This is awful. Why? At least it's a 1:00 game and not a prime time.
The Panthers Bucks isn't much better, but okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I see. The question is, are they sticking with Tim Boyle? Because he's not the issue, obviously. Or the quarterback isn't. Zach Wilson isn't the issue, obviously. Maybe, I don't know.
I kind of think Zach Wilson is an issue, yes.
Listen, if Arthur Smith uses Bijan Robinson, they win this game. So give me the Falcons.
I don't like anything about this game.
That's why it's the worst of the week.
Man, I really don't know. Let's just so that we can hear more about Aaron Rodgers potentially coming back and leading the Jets to a playoff charge. I think they have to win this game for that narrative to continue. So give me the Jets.
Scriptwriter's going crazy with this one. Lions and Saints. Give me the Lions coming off a loss to the Packers. Obviously, you want to win here to keep a shot at taking the number.
Wait a minute. You're telling me you're now off the Derek Carr bandwagon again?
I was never on the Derek Carr bandwagon.
I think if we go back to previous podcasts, you were on the Derek Carr bandwagon.
Every time I pick Derek Carr, I go, I don't like Derek Carr, though, because Derek Carr sucks, and they lost last week to the Falcons, who are playing the Jets this week in the worst of the week. That's how you know they're bad. So, give me the Lions by 50.
So you're flip-flopping again.
I'm not flip-flopping.
I'm going with my boy. I'm going with my boy Dan Campbell.
All right. Well,
Dan Campbell.
So you're off the Derek Carr bandwagon.
My love for Dan Campbell far exceeds my bandwagoning of Derek Carr.
Can I not love Dan Campbell?
I didn't say you couldn't.
Okay.
I'm just saying you're flip-flopping. Continue.
Broncos versus Texans. Texans coming off a loss to the Jags. And Broncos on a 5-game winning streak, trying to make it to the playoffs. Both these teams are trying to make it to the playoffs, obviously. Honestly, this is a big game for playoff standings, and I think that the Broncos win this because their defense has been lights out recently. And against a rookie like Stroud, I know we've given Stroud praise, but we haven't really seen him go against a superstar defense. And I think this is the game that, maybe he falls apart. Possibly he did against the Cardinals, but they ended up winning the game, so it really didn't matter. But give me the Broncos.
I'm going to use a Vegas analogy here. The Broncos are on a heater right now. And in Vegas, if you're sitting at a blackjack table and you're on a heater, you progressive bet the hell out of that. Give me the Broncos all day, every day, baby. We're on a heater.
All right, Chargers and Patriots. Chargers move on. There's nothing to say.
I hate that this game should be the worst of the week just because of everybody involved.
Brandon Staley will find a way to lose this game.
I know. I want to pick against them because I think you're right. I think he will find a way to lose this game. Give me Justin Herbert and the flowing locks, Chargers.
But only Herbert, not Brandon Staley.
No, Brandon Staley's a dope.
So they can leave him in New England.
They should leave him in New England.
That's good. Cardinals and Steelers. Dude, I don't even know. I think Kyler's better than Kenny Pickett. So give me Kyler.
I agree. Give me Kyler.
He's been playing pretty good. Dolphins and Commanders. Dolphins move on. I mean, I don't want to count Sam Howell out, but
Dolphins big. Not even. This game's gonna suck.
Panthers and Buccaneers. Buccaneers just fired Frank Reich and their whole coaching staff. So give me the Buccaneers.
What did Frank Reich coach there? Like, this was his first year there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So they let him coach like 11 games?
Yeah, with the worst roster in NFL history, yeah.
When he didn't even want
Bryce Young, yeah.
He wanted Stroud, didn't he?
Yeah, and then their GM said, no, I want Bryce Young.
So you come into coach, you know you've got a horrible team. The coach you bring in doesn't want the quarterback that you brought in, but now you're blaming him for being 1-10, and you're going to fire him. That's great ownership. That is a great franchise. Give me the Baker Mayfields, I guess. That's gross to say.
Obviously, no doubter. Game of the week right here. 49ers versus Eagles. NFC Championship rematch. Brock Purdy's actually healthy this time. Dude, this may honestly be the greatest game of all time.
What?
Dude, do you not understand the significance of this game?
Please share the significance of this game in Week 12 of the NFL when both teams are guaranteed to go to the playoffs and both teams are pretty much guaranteed to win their division. Please share the significance of this game.
It's better than Falcons versus Jets.
Valid point.
There we go. So this should be a great game. Honestly, I'm torn. If we can, I was thinking about this all week. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win?
Wait, you don't have enough to think about.
No, give me the 49ers.
I don't even think this is a debate. I think the Eagles are due to lose. 49ers, big.
Browns and Rams. Give me the Rams because you got Dorian Thompson-Robinson back there. And
he has a concussion. Questionable.
So it's Joe Flacco. Okay, fine. Let me switch it up. Give me Joe Flacco. Give me Joe Flacco.
Have you ever seen Joe Flacco play?
Yeah, he beat the Browns last year against the Jets. Remember that?
No, I don't.
He came back. It was it was amazing.
Joe Flacco played last year?
Heck yeah, he did.
Wow. That's a memory I've obviously erased.
That was a great game.
Give me the Rams. Matt Stafford.
Chiefs and Packers, Sunday Night Football. Dude, who do you want to take? The best quarterback in the league or Jordan Love? Give me Patrick Mahomes. Even though he has no receivers.
Is Taylor Swift going to be there?
Dude, I don't know. Probably not, because she's... I don't know. What is she doing?
By the way, I looked through your phone the other day and I saw in your history you had looked up a membership to be a Swiftie.
I did not.
I'm just telling you it's what I found in your phone.
I did not. I did look
How to become a Swiftie.
No. I did look up. Was Taylor Swift going to be at the Dolphins game? Because I knew that if she was going to be there, that Dolphins were going to lose. But she was not. And the Dolphins still lost.
If you need a credit card number...
I don't need a credit card
to become a Swiftie member, I will gladly do that for you.
Can I?
It's the least I could do.
All right.
I'm taking the Chiefs.
All right, Monday Night Football. Jake Browning and the Bengals versus Trevor Lawrence and the Jags. I understand why they put this at Monday Night Football because it was supposed to be Joe Burrow, but it's not. So give me Trevor Lawrence.
I think the Bengals are in a lot of trouble. Give me the Jags. Jags very under the radar team right now. 8-3, second place in the conference. No one's talking about the Jags.
Well, because they lost 31-3 to the 49ers.
Well, a lot of people lose to the 49ers. I'm just saying, a little under the radar. Give me the Jags.
All right, that's it for this episode. And
well, I hope people continue to listen after your 45-second NBA rant.
Listen, our NBA R1. Do we even have an NBA fan? If you're an NBA fan listening, we don't appreciate it.
I tried to talk about the NBA the last two podcasts and you wouldn't let me, but yeah.
I did.
You just throw it in right in the middle of the podcast.
All right, do you want to go ahead and talk about the NBA then?
No, I think this podcast has been long enough, and I do not.
No, go ahead, start. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No.
You're so angry. Go ahead, start talking about the NBA. See what happens.
It's a bad product. LeBron James claiming to be the greatest player of all time.